Hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser, Monty G. It's time to do another horror movie review. It's time to review the latest horror movie from Shudder. It is called Shook. Yes, Shook. Now, Shook is a 2021 American horror film that was written and directed by Jennifer Harrington. It stars Daisy Tudor, Emily Goss, Nicola Posner, and Stephanie Sambari. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Now, in this particular movie, when Mia, a social media star, becomes the target of an online terror campaign, she has to solve a series of games to prevent the people she cares about from being killed or murdered. Ooh, wait a minute. Haven't we seen this plot before? A certain movie that was directed by Wes Craven? Yeah, we've seen this type of movie before. Now, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's anybody paying attention, but for the past several years, we've seen a new subgenre in horror movies. Films such as Unfriended, Friends Request, Rattler, and Cry Wolf all involve some form of social media as the centerpiece of the film. It seems filmmakers are showing the dangers that come with social media outlets such as Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and then they add some horror elements, and what you get is films such as the ones I just talked about. It seems like that's the new thing to do in horror movies, is to take the actual things that happens in social media outlets, whether you have stalkers, friends get jealous of so many friends, or people want to do some outrageous shit online just to get views or followers on any type of social media outlets. And what some of the filmmakers are doing is either putting a supernatural spin on it, hence the film Unfriended, or you have stalkers, like Friend's Request. It just seems to be exploding out right now in the horror genre. While some are hits and some are misses, it seems that what horror filmmakers will continue to do anything to add to this growing subgenre. Such is the case with film director Jennifer Harrington's latest entry, simply called Shook. Now, in this one, we're introduced to Mia, an Instagram model with tons of followers. She's pretty, she's beautiful, and she models makeup. After a photo shoot, Mina heads back home to her mother's house, where we learn that she has a sister named Nicole, and the mother recently died from an illness that Nicole is also suffering from as well. Aww. Now, while Mia is dog sitting Nicole's dog, I think his name is Chico, she starts to receive weird phone calls from a person only known as Kellen. It's not before long, Kellen starts a horrible and cruel game with Mia, where she has to make choices that might cost her life or her friends' lives. Okay, here we go again. We got that same concept that we saw in the movie that was directed by Wes Craven. That starred a certain Nev Campbell. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but when I was watching this movie, the first thing I was thinking was this is another Scream thing, because it's obviously they taken elements of Scream and also elements of Unfriended, and now we have this particular movie right here. It's like a combination of Scream meets Unfriended. Now, Harrington's script blends the premise from both movies and tries to give the audience something different. So I give her credit for trying to do something different. Yeah, we've seen most social media horror movies before, but this is something completely different. You're taking two elements of Scream, and then you're also taking elements of Unfriended. Take out the supernatural aspect of Unfriended, but you still have social media as the main focus. Me as a Instagram media star, and of course we have the elements of Scream, because now with the advance of smartphones, so we take the elements of Scream, you take the elements of Unfriended, and now you have Shook. Now, while I like the attempt as it's something completely different, unfortunately it does come off a bit flat at times, and the actors really don't bring any life in the story. It's like, yeah, we got this, we got that, but we're like, okay, we're waiting something good for happening, but nothing really happens that we haven't seen before. Now, the one thing I will give Harrington credit is how she stages some of the scenes. Some parts she actually uses live actors in the scenes when Mia is texting her friends, or at other times displaying screenshot when Mia is FaceTiming her friends on the walls of the house. There are some excellent shots of all the screenshots of her friends from some of the videos that she sees on her phone, and they're displayed on the wall or in the background behind Mia. I thought that was decent, and sometimes we actually see the actors either they're talking behind Mia, behind her face, or behind her ears. And I like that aspect of the film. It's something different, so I'll give Harrington credit for doing that. However, unfortunately, her story is flat and cliched as if Harrington doesn't give the story or the actors can't provide the heart necessary to make a horror movie like this. I mean, one of the things I did like about Unfriended, even though most people didn't like the movie, but what I liked was that all the characters actually did create something. They gave heart. Yeah, it was probably cliched and a lot of people seen it, but at least we actually did care what was happening to the kids here. Here, everyone is flat. We really don't care that much about the characters. Now, Daisy Tudor does try to give Mia the sympathy that a character like her deserves. Having unresolved issues with her sister. Well, no, was she the one that didn't care about her mother or not? I believe that's simply what Harrington was going for. But she simply comes off as flat and doesn't provide the type of emotion that make the audience care about her. That's what you want an actor to do in a story like this. Because if you're trying to give sympathy for Mia, then the actor or the script should provide that aspect of it. And unfortunately, we get neither. I don't know if it's the story or the actor, but she just comes off flat, and we don't care what's happening to her. I mean, not even the so-called twist that happens between the second and third acts in the film doesn't help us. I saw that one coming a mile away. It might surprise some people, but it didn't surprise me at all. And we do get some kills, but not necessarily great, not necessarily scream-like or even unfriended-like. It just people die and that's it. There's not enough scariness in the film. There's no tone. There's no atmosphere. There's nothing that makes this film scary or horrible. I mean, it's not scary, but it's really not hard neither. It's just events that just happen. So I don't know if it's to blame for Harrington's script or the actors or both, but it's just flat and boring. So, despite the interesting premise and how well Harrington shoots some of the scenes, we have your typical flat and uneventful social media horror film. It's not a bad horror film. I've seen worse horror films than this one, but when it comes to films such as either Cry Wolf or let's see, Chainmail or Unfriended or Our Friended Dark Web or some of the other ones that have come out to play, even Friend's Request was a little bit better than this one. So, like I said, it's not bad, but it's just not enough to get me juices going. So, I'm going to give Shook 1.5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. 1.5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Like I said, interesting premise. I like the combination of putting Scream and Unfriended together, but it's just not enough. Either the script is flat, the acting is flat. It's just not enough. Not enough at all. So there you have it, my horror fans. That is my video and review of Shook. It is now airing on Shudder. So if you have seen Shook, leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about Shook. Did you like it? Do you think it's a nice horror movie to include in this growing trend of social media horror? Or do you think it's flat as I was? Did you think it's flat as I thought it was flat? Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. And I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.